Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to guide you through our material today because honestly, we're looking at a truly transformative framework for personal development. We're dissecting a fascinating text called The Harvest of Self, Cultivating Personal Growth. If you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or just entirely burned out while chasing your ambitions, well, this is exactly where you need to be. We're going to look closely at what it actually takes to grow, using a timeless, grounded metaphor that completely changes how we view success.
So why do so many of our personal goals just kind of wither and die, right? We've all experienced it. We set a New Year's resolution, we start a new health routine, maybe we launch a passion project, and within weeks, the energy just vanishes. Poof! We live in an era that absolutely demands instant gratification. We expect next-day delivery on our wellness and overnight success for our careers. But true, sustainable growth, that operates on a completely different timeline.
And that brings us straight to the core concept of our source text today, the harvest of self. This is all about adopting the patient, practical, and really resilient mindset of a farmer tending to their crops to achieve well-being. Today, we're consciously shifting our identity. We're stepping away from being those impatient, quick-fix life hackers, and we are stepping right into the boots of patient, strategic farmers.
Okay, let's dive into this. Phase 1. Meet the farmer.
The source text does this brilliant thing where it explicitly maps literal agriculture onto our personal wellness. It's like a giant puzzle. On one side, you have the farmer and the crops. On the other side, you have you and your goals or passions. The text tells us that you are the farmer. Your decisions, your habits, your wellness targets, well, those are your crops. If we actually accept this comparison, it completely rewires how we treat our ambitions. Think about deciding to write a book or pivot careers. You don't just, do it in an afternoon. You cultivate it, slowly over months of dedicated effort.
Phase 2. Planting practical goals. Because here's the thing about farming, you can't just throw seeds onto concrete and expect a harvest. Before we plant anything, we have to look really realistically at our environment. The text advises us to be relentlessly practical. You have to choose your goals based on the resources actually available to you: your soil, geography, weather conditions, capital in hand, and manpower. In your life, this translates to your physical energy, your financial resources, your location, and your time. You can't adopt a goal that requires the resources of a massive commercial farm if you're currently working with a small backyard garden's worth of time and energy, right? If you're already exhausted from a demanding day job, attempting to launch a massive side hustle is literally planting seeds in barren soil. You gotta set your goals based on reality.
Phase 3. Nurturing and weeding.
So we've planted our goals, but that initial burst of motivation is absolutely not enough to sustain real growth. Now comes the daily grind. The text outlines an essential cyclical procedure. Step 1, irrigate consistently. Step 2, fertilize regularly. And Step 3, remove toxic weeds. Think about the energy here, consistently and regularly. Your wellness goals require daily watering. Real-world fertilizer isn't magical. It's getting 8 hours of sleep, eating nutritious food, or maybe taking a masterclass to sharpen your skills. You can't just water a seed once a month and expect a towering stalk. It's the mundane, enthusiastic daily repetition of these practices that actually creates the conditions for your success.
Now, you might be wondering, what exactly are these toxic weeds? Well, the text gives us a very sharp, modern definition. Toxic conditions equal certain people, the news, and media. To protect your crops, meaning your passions and your well-being, you have to actively remove the elements that are stealing nutrients from your soil. If scrolling through negative news algorithms or engaging with cynical people is draining your energy, those are weeds. You've got to be proactive in pulling them out, curating your environment to really protect your progress.
Phase 4. The patience principle.
This is arguably the toughest psychological challenge of the whole harvest. You've planted practically, you're watering daily, you're pulling weeds, and now you have to wait for the delayed rewards. The text shifts into this powerful rhythmic mantra of what not to do when things feel slow. First, don't blame the crops for not growing fast enough. As the author states, they will mature when it is time. You can't just yell at a seed to make it sprout faster. It has its own biological timeline, and demanding otherwise is just a waste of energy. Your complex personal goals, like mastering a new skill, building a business, or recovering from burnout, they have their own inherent timelines too. Building right on that, the text explicitly warns us. Don't complain that rewards aren't quick enough. We really have to call out our own modern tendencies here. It is so easy to feel entitled to immediate results, right? Because of the technology we use every day. We're used to tapping a glass screen and getting what we want instantly. But complaining that the harvest isn't here yet doesn't speed up the seasons. Actually, scratch that. It just makes the daily work of farming completely miserable.
And here is the big one. Literally the fatal error so many of us make. Don't leave or uproot before they fully bloom. How many times have you quit a gym routine, or a language app, or a creative project right before the breakthrough was about to happen? You dug up the seed to see if it was growing, and in doing so, you killed it. The text urges you, leave it in the ground. Let it do its work.
Finally, to really hammer this mantra home, don't get angry for the lack of instant results. Anger is entirely counterproductive to cultivation. It ruins the soil of your mind. The author is deeply pragmatic here. Getting mad at reality doesn't change reality. It simply distracts you from your daily task of watering and weeding.
So, instead of anger and impatience, we need to lean into this fantastic quote directly from the source. Don't hesitate to invest time, effort, and money on crops to reap quality rewards later. Notice the word invest. True quality yields require an undeniable upfront faith. You have to be willing to put your resources on the line now, knowing full well that the harvest is months or perhaps even years away.
Phase 5. Weathering the bad seasons.
No matter how perfectly you plant and no matter how patiently you wait, you are going to face inevitable adversity. What's really interesting here is the clear locus of control, dividing our reality into two distinct areas. First, we have what is strictly out of control. Extreme environmental factors and bad seasons, a sudden illness, a macroeconomic downturn, an unexpected life crisis. You can't stop the storm. If the economy takes a hit, that's out of your hands. But then we have what is firmly in our control. Being prepared, showing commitment, consistency, showing up, not quitting, and taking full responsibility. The farmer knows they can't control the weather, but they retain total power over their response to it.
And that leads to this enduring truth about resilience. As the text concludes, a farmer may lose crops once in a while, but he learns and tries again freshly. Failure is just baked into the model. Sometimes, despite doing everything right, the harvest fails. Sometimes, the goal just isn't met. The passion project fizzles out. A non-farmer might see this as a reason to never plant again. But a farmer understands this is simply part of the cycle. You take the lessons from the failure, you turn the soil over, and you replant.
So as we wrap up this explainer, we have to apply this directly to you. Your field is waiting. What will you plant today? We've explored the practical, patient, and incredibly resilient mindset of the farmer. We've seen how to protect our goals from toxic weeds and how to weather the storms completely outside of our control. The soil is yours to tend. So embrace the delayed gratification, put in the daily work, and get ready for the harvest. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.